The game of football has long been referred to as America's sport, with millions attending games and tuning in to watch their favorite team every single game day. The sport has gained popularity substantially over the amount of years that it has been aired, from Friday Night Lights, college football Saturdays, and even NFL Sunday. The sport itself brings together dozens upon dozens of friends and family, all tuning in to join in the events and watch their favorite teams compete. However, there is a deeper darkness lurking around the sport of football, deeper than ACL injuries and roughed up shoulders. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE for short, has been lurking in the league for years. Now, I have a personal stake in CTE. I had several concussions growing up playing the sport of football, and I took 2 years of sports medicine as a way of getting a better understanding of the injury. The NFL and NCAA are both leagues that have the power to help limit the amount of CTE can be found in players. All they have to do is implement new tackling methods, as well as reinforce helmets and padding. If they can't do that, and the two leagues fail to help prevent it in the coming years, the sport of football should no longer be a sport. First off, let's take a look at some of the statistics that can show just how bad CTE is. What we know about CTE, this is going from doctors and researchers all across the country and the globe. It is caused by repetitive blows to the head, repetitive and aggressive. Unfortunately, we do not know how many hits it requires for each player, but what we do know is that every single player gets varied based on how hard the hit is from one to another. The harder the hit, the more likely you are to contract the injury. In an article titled "Why Finding CTE in League Players Matter," the author states that out of 153 football players examined post-death for CTE, 64 of them were found to have had CTE at one point of their life. If you put that number into perspective, you're looking at 41.2% of all league players are going to contract CTE by the time their football career is done. Not just NFL. We're talking nearly 50% of all football players, even as young as high school level football, contracting the injury. And an unbelievable and undeniably terrible satisfaction. Now that I've pointed out and redirected you to some of the more prevalent issues regarding CTE and how dangerous it actually is, let's take a look at some of the more glaring things that make it so bad. You cannot find CTE in your life. The only way to find CTE in a league player, or anybody for that matter, is a post-death autopsy. You cannot find it in the scans, and that is unfortunate. It ranges from all ages. Young players can get it as well and carry it their entire life. In an article that was titled, Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy in Contact Sports, scientists and researchers agreed, from the author stating, that the median age found in players dead, autopsied after CTE, was ages 60 to 69. Not too young, but at the same time, not too old. Just the right amount of age to ruin someone's life, many of which had violent and dangerous paths beyond the sport of football. Overall, football is a great sport. It's America's game. But the NFL and NCAA have to be able to help correct these measures, implementing new tackling methods and even doubling, reinforcing the amount of shoulder pads and helmet armor that these players get to use. The NFL is a favorite sport. They can do it. These football players have a career long after the sport of football. It should not be destroyed. The NFL and NCAA have the measures to correct it, and I hope that they do. Thank you.